Have you ever watched The Wicker Man, 1973, UK, and felt there was more beneath this folk songs, pagan rituals, and that shocking ending? This movie is full of hidden corners, production myths, and festival folklore that even devoted fans might have missed. Stick around as by the end of this video, I'll reveal several secrets that will change how you see The Wicker Man, 1973, UK forever. Fact 1. The script was based only loosely on a novel. Anthony Schaefer acquired the rights to David Penner's novel Ritual, but he never intended to produce a faithful adaptation in The Wicker Man, 1973, UK. He used Ritual as inspiration for tone and setting, then reworked many elements, characters, the ending, and even the nature of the pagan rituals. The Wicker effigy, the rituals around the island, and the fusion of horror and folklore are more Schaefer's imaginative overlay than Penner's plot. Wikipedia +1. This creative freedom let them explore themes of belief versus skepticism, community versus individual faith, rather than sticking rigidly to a source. It's one reason the film feels so original and unsettling. You never know which parts are invented, which are folklore, which are metaphor. Fact 2. Filmed in autumn but set in spring with fake blossoms everywhere. Although the story of The Wicker Man, 1973, UK is set in late spring, filming actually began in October. In November 1972, during Scotland's autumn. To create the illusion of lush springtime, the production had to glue fake blossoms and leaves to many trees in the many on location shoots. They even imported blossoms for aerial shots, though some aerials were filmed in South Africa to avoid the cost and logistical nightmare of creating spring trees in winter. It's a detail viewers may not notice consciously, but the mismatch of natural weather with floral decor contributes to the uncanny feeling pervading the film. Fact 3. Christopher Lee worked without payment. Despite being a big name, Christopher Lee accepted the role of Lord Summerisle in The Wicker Man, 1973, UK without a salary. Because the studio British Line was in financial hardship and the budget was tight, Lee's willingness to accept no fee helped the film even get made. This wasn't just generosity. Lee believed in the project, in the script, and in giving horror something different. Psychological weight, folklore, music, ritual. His involvement lent credibility and attracted other collaborators. And the fact that someone of Lee's stature would work for no pay helps explain some of the passion seen in his performance as a leader of pagan rites. Fact 4. The Maypole song has hidden meanings. One of the film's most haunting moments is the Maypole dance, where children sing a cheerful tune about reproduction and death. The lyrics, disguised as innocent, actually reflect pagan beliefs in fertility and the cycle of life. This eerie juxtaposition of innocence and ritual horror reinforces the film's unsettling tone of sunlit nightmare with joy and sacrifice intertwined. Many viewers didn't catch the dark meaning until rewatching, realizing the entire island was teaching children to accept death as natural, even holy. Fact 5. The final scene was terrifyingly real. The iconic burning scene in The Wicker Man, 1973, UK was filmed using a real 40-foot wicker structure. Edward Woodward, who played Sergeant Howie, stood inside the massive effigy as real flames rose around him. Those safety precautions were in place. The heat and smoke were genuine. Woodward later admitted he felt a primal fear during the shoot. The crew filmed it in one take, capturing authentic terror as the actors screamed prayers against the roaring fire. That raw realism makes the ending unforgettable and deeply disturbing. Fact 6. The music was a character of its own. The soundtrack of The Wicker Man, 1973. UK wasn't just background music, it was the soul of the film. Composer Paul Giovanni, working with the band Magnet, blended traditional British folk tunes with haunting original melodies. The songs were filled with old-world mysticism, referencing fertility, the sun, and the changing of the seasons. Giovanni recorded using authentic instruments like mandolins and pipes to capture the raw Scottish mood. The music serves as both comfort and warning, cheerful on the surface, but laced with dark undertones of ritual and death. Many viewers later realized that each song subtly foreshadows the final sacrifice, turning the film into a musical prophecy. Over time, the soundtrack gained cult status of its own, inspiring folk horror musicians for decades and helping define an entire subject known as folk horror. Fact 7. The setting was a patchwork of real villages. Although the film takes place on the fictional Summerisle, The Wicker Man, 1973, UK was shot across several Scottish locations. Villages like Plockton and Kirkcudbright were transformed into the eerie pagan island, with locals often appearing as extras. Director Robin Hardy wanted authenticity, so real pubs, churches, and harbors were used. The production faced harsh weather and unpredictable tides, giving the film's landscapes a rugged and haunted beauty. The choice to scatter filming locations mirrors the fragmented nature of the story reality and myth blurring together. Even today, fans travel across Scotland to visit these filming spots, treating them like sacred sites. The real-world geography adds to the illusion that some Russell might truly exist, hidden somewhere off the coast. Fact, date the film's release was a disaster. When The Wicker Man 1973 UK first hit theaters, it was a commercial failure. The studio didn't understand this strange mix of mystery, musical, and horror, so they barely promoted it. Many cinemas didn't know how to market it. Was it a thriller, a folktale, or satire? Worse, the film was paired as a B movie alongside Don't Look Now, even though both deserved top billing. Critics were puzzled, and audiences left unsure what they had just watched. But over time, word of mouth spread. Late night screenings and VHS reissues turned it into a cult phenomenon. Fans realized it wasn't just horror, it was a philosophical fable about faith, nature, and sacrifice. Today, that failure is seen as one of Britain's greatest films. Fact 9, Edward Woodward didn't know the ending until filming. Edward Woodward, who plays Sergeant Howard, wasn't fully told how his character's story would end until late in production. Director Robin Hardy wanted his shock and disbelief to feel completely real. When Woodward finally learned that Howard would be sacrificed inside a burning effigy, he was stunned. During filming, the actor channeled genuine fear, horror, and outrage, especially as he sang hymns against the chanting crowd. His performance feels painfully authentic because, in many ways, he was reacting as himself, not just as the character. Woodward later said the experience left him emotionally shaken but proud. He believed it was one of his most powerful roles. That raw, desperate finale became one of the most unforgettable in cinema history. Fact 10, The Wicker Man created the folk horror genre. Before The Wicker Man, 1973 UK horror films mostly focused on monsters, ghosts, or killers. But this movie introduced something new, terror born from ancient rituals, nature worship, and isolation. Its sunlit dread, rural setting, and symbolic violence laid the foundation for what critics later called folk horror. Alongside Witchfinder General and Blood on Satan's Claw, it formed the unholy trinity that defined the genre. Decades later, filmmakers like Ari Aster, Midsummer, and Ben Wheatley Killed cited The Wicker Man as a major influence. It showed that true horror doesn't need darkness sometimes. Brightest sunlight hides the darkest secrets. Without it, modern psychological and pagan horror might look very different. Fact 11, the script was a philosophical debate. The screenplay of The Wicker Man, 1973, UK wasn't just a horror story, it was written as a philosophical clash between two worldviews. Screenwriter Anthony Schaefer designed every scene as a dialogue between Christianity and paganism, faith and reason, repression and freedom. Sergeant Howard represents rigid religious morality, while Lord Sumrussell embodies hedonistic, nature-based spirituality. Their interactions aren't typical hero-villain exchanges, but deep arguments about truth and belief. By the end, the film doesn't declare a winner instead. It forces the audience to question both extremes. This complexity is why the movie feels timeless. It's not just about fear, but about ideology, sacrifice, and the human need to find meaning in chaos. Many fans now see it less as a horror film and more as a tragic moral fable. Fact 12, real locals became unscripted extras. To achieve realism, director Robin Hardy cast many real Scottish villagers as extras in The Wicker Man, 1973 UK. Instead of professional actors, the film used locals for crowd scenes, pub gatherings, and rituals. Their authentic accents, natural reactions, and unfamiliarity with the camera gave the film an unsettling documentary feel. Some weren't fully told what the scenes represented, especially the pagan rituals, making their confusion or curiosity genuine. This blurred line between acting and reality enhanced the island's eerie authenticity, a place that feels too believable, too alive. Viewers often comment that the background faces seem hauntingly real, as if the village truly worshipped ancient gods. This unique approach helped the film stand apart from traditional studio productions, grounding its surreal story in a strangely familiar world. Fact 13, a lost sequel was planned after the cult success of The Wicker Man. 1973, UK, director Robin Hardy wanted to create a spiritual follow-up titled The Lonesome Lantern Worm, exploring similar themes of ritual and belief. The project never materialized due to lack of funding. Decades later, Hardy directed The Wicker Tree, 2011, a loose companion film rather than a direct sequel. Despite sharing the same themes of faith and sacrifice, it couldn't replicate the magic or atmosphere of the original. Christopher Lee made a brief appearance as a mysterious old man, rumored to be Lord Sumrussell himself. Fans still debate whether The Wicker Tree should be considered canon, but most agree nothing can match the haunting originality of the 1973 classic. The idea of a Wicker Man trilogy remains one of cinema's great what-ifs. Fact 14, the US release was censored. When The Wicker Man, 1973 UK was released in the United States, American distributors demanded heavy cuts. Scenes showing nudity, ritual dances, and pagan songs were shortened or removed entirely. Ironically, these were the very elements that gave the film its unsettling power. The American version felt incomplete, confusing audiences and dulling its philosophical impact. For years, us viewers didn't experience the full film until restored editions surfaced decades later. This censorship reflected cultural discomfort with the movie's themes of sexuality, religion, and moral ambiguity. When fans finally saw the uncut version, its brilliance became clear, revealing the Wicker Man as more than a shocker, but a profound exploration of belief, temptation, and sacrifice. Fact 15, its legacy still burns bright. 50 years later, The Wicker Man, 1973, UK remains one of the most studied and imitated horror films ever made. It shaped the folk horror genre, inspired countless directors, and even influenced modern hits like Midsummer. Its fearless blend of beauty and terror, music, and myth continues to mesmerize new generations. The haunted image of the burning wicker effigy has become an icon symbolizing mankind's eternal struggle between faith, nature, and fate. Scholars dissect its symbolism, musicians cover its songs, and filmmakers revisit its themes. Few films manage to be so beautiful, so disturbing, and so timeless all at once. In the end, The Wicker Man is not just a movie, it's a ritual, a warning, and a masterpiece carved into the history of cinema. The Wicker Man, 1973. UK isn't just a horror film, it's a haunting tale of faith, fear, and sacrifice that still captivates audiences today. Its chilling finale and layered symbolism make it one of cinema's most enduring mysteries. What do you think? Were the villagers truly evil or simply devoted to their beliefs? Which moment shocked you the most? Share your thoughts in the comments and don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more hidden truths behind classic films.